Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Paul Jasson with you. Thank you for joining us. We are downtown again in our comfortable surroundings here at Fairfield Federal in our little corner where so much happens behind us at the gazebo down there as we're now well into the Friday night bandstand things. And of course, Fairfield Federal is so involved in that, and it's such an exciting time to be downtown for all that. Got plenty of good things going on today's show. I'm pretty excited about it. We've got some good stuff. We're going to start out with, I was thinking about everyone knows where they were, certain moments, some not so good, say perhaps 9/11 or John Kennedy, bad moments, maybe good moments like Ryan Day winning the national championship or Rex Kern winning the national championship. Good moments. We all know where we were. Well, one of those moments for me, and I remember all those moments too, but one of them was for me was February 1964 on the old Ed Sullivan Show. We remember the first volley came from what would be known as the British invasion. And they had four relatively unknown young men, not totally unknown, but relatively young known, from Liverpool who came here and kind of set the music world on its ear. Not since Elvis Presley has we heard such things as this. And so from that moment now, spin it forward 60 plus years, and we're still talking about it, and we'll talk about it on this segment too. With a gentleman that I like to think of as the fifth Beatle. There's John, sure. Paul, George, Ringo, and Clarence.
And Clarence, yes, indeed.
Clarence McCoy is with us, the fifth Beatle.
The fifth Beatle, mop top. Yes.
For the purposes of this next 15 minutes, you are the Pete Best.
Nice.
You are the George Martin.
There we go.
Of our show. Right. Clarence, of course, is the director of the Lancaster Community Chorus, and coming up this coming Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles' big show.
Going to be a great show, as you know, so much good Beatles music, and I'm excited that we can present part of it. The concert could have been 5 hours, 6 hours long if we wanted to get all the
and
Beatles
all
songs
great
in.
Music.
Exactly, and such a huge variety. Yeah.
I think we talk about that almost. Maybe not for Requiem, but for most other shows, how you pare down when you get your subject matter, whatever it is for this one, the Beatles, how you pare it down, and certainly most of us know so many Beatles songs.
Indeed.
How you, with that scope of music that you know of, how you get it down to a dozen songs or so.
Yeah, it's a difficult process, and some of it is just practicality. Like this particular concert, the Requiem was fairly late in our season. We kind of schedule things around Easter because a lot of us are involved in church music. I am especially, and so things happen before and after Easter. And the way this worked calendar-wise, we had less time after Easter because Easter was so late. So we only have 7 rehearsals where we normally have 8. So that was a practical decision-making process there, that there's only so much we can get done in the number of rehearsals that we have. So I've left out some songs I would really, really like to have included, some big Beatles songs that people are probably going to leave and say, well, I don't know why they didn't have that one in there. And it was just because that's the way it is, to try and get variety.
If you'd have added another 10 songs, there still would have been that comment.
Absolutely.
Why didn't
why didn't they include this one?
And I would think part of it too is, I know you give the singers tracks to listen to, versions, choir versions, choral versions of that. And I would think a big part of it would be where you can find, if it's Hey Jude, let's say. Great song, everybody wants to hear that, but can you find a good choral version of that? And I would think that would enter into this.
It enters into it pretty strongly, exactly, because a lot of times there are arrangements out there, but they're not ones that are really very good. It would be the song, but it wouldn't be one that would provide a lot for our singers or for our audience, and I try and balance all of those things, songs that our audience would like, arrangements that give some fulfillment to our singers as well. We have a pretty good group of singers there, many of whom know the difference between what's a good arrangement and what isn't. So we try to include that stuff in the process as well. And then just variety of songs, how things pace, how you go from a slow song to a fast song, and what's an opener and what's a closer and all that stuff. And that it ends up becoming quite the process to choose which songs are going to be in it. So.
And we'll talk about the songs, and looking at the list, they're pretty daggone good. But I will say this: I was talking to someone. And again, another compliment to you and the community chorus. I cannot think, and I know some of the groups in town. We've got the men's chorus. We've got what's now Pro Arte, the old Lancaster Chorale. Many groups in town sing, and they're all great. We love them all, and they all have their place.
Yeah.
But I can't think of another group who could do Requiem. An entirely Latin program, and very heavy and very big, and I think y'all did a great job on that. And then fast forward to just a few weeks later, ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Indeed.
That's a pretty big mark.
A little bit of a musical whiplash going on for sure between the two.
But congratulations on being able to get that kind of stuff done. You guys have just a big repertoire of things you can do, almost any genre.
Yeah, actually, give us enough time to prepare, and I think we can do pretty much anything. And we've done, over the course of our 13 years of existence, we have done quite a variety already. So and more to come. So,
well, let's talk about, we're in the 60s now. It's ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Correct. 60s on. Yes.
60s on, 64 on, and for another decade or so. We talk about that.
Yeah.
But you've come up with the songs, and I guess the first thing would be, usually there's a group that appears with you that ties in with the music, with the kind of thing you're doing. Do you have someone like that now?
We do have guest artists for this particular concert. We have an outside group, the Lancaster Fairfield Youth Choir. This is their second time singing with us. They are. Yeah.
Love them.
And their director, Kathy Smith, is actually a singer in our organization as well. So
you have
a natural
an
tie-in there.
Okay.
Exactly. We also have a parent of one of the persons who's in Lancaster Fairfield Youth Choir sings in that group. I'm really excited about that, kind of see the different generations all come together. That's a good thing. So they're doing a few songs on their own in the second half, and then we're going to all combine together for a big song to finish things out. So they're there. And then in the first half, we feature some of our own singers doing solos and a couple small groups and that sort of thing. We often do that in our third concert of the year, which tends to be lighter. We do that. And so we've got that happening as well. Ann Kippen and Neil Weiland and Nancy Rose are doing If I Fell, gorgeous ballad with kind of a folk take from there, doing it with guitar and the three close harmony voices, and that's going to be a good one. And then a fairly new singer to the group, Grace Butler Hoke, is doing a really cool arrangement of I Get By With a Little Help From My Friends. Just her and guitar. Again, a little bit folky, some kind of dissonant chord sort of things in the mix, which is cool. And then we're also going to have Debbie Wright and Rex McMurphy. Debbie Wright and one of her Debbie Wright and friends. One of the friends is Rex.
One of the friends?
Yeah, and they're doing When I'm 64 with Debbie playing piano and Rex playing clarinet and singing, doing that. And that's going to be a fun piece in that portion of the program.
Kind of keep the things moving along, keep it in that, I guess, 60, all Beatles, really. All Beatles kind of genre.
Beatles songs, with like I said, a couple of different arrangements, and then just lots of fun from the Debbie and Rex one that's going to be good. Lancaster Fairfield Youth Choir in the second half are doing Help. Beatles tune, they're doing Here Comes the Sun. We had some discussion over who was going to do that one, because we had a good arrangement and they had a good arrangement, so we let them win. Yeah, exactly. And then they're doing All You Need Is Love. Same deal. We've done that a couple of times on other concerts, so we let them do that one this time too, and which opened up some spaces for us to do some different things. So
it's always a fun concert. This, as you say, the third one perhaps a little lighter than usually than some during you. Certainly from 2 to 3 now. Would be a bit lighter for the chorus. But you open up. Let's hear some of the rundown of the songs.
Sure.
Again, when you think Beatles, you know them all.
You know them all. We're doing Good Day Sunshine to open the concert. A really cool arrangement of that. doing a nice ballad called Blackbird, very, very gorgeous melody, and then fun to end that segment. We're doing Obla Di Obla Da, which is just it's a party song, just goes on, it's good. And then we'll feature those solos and small groups that I talked about. And then we're coming back and doing Eleanor Rigby, which is not exactly an uplifting story if you hear all the words of that, but it's a really cool,
a great song,
and different than a lot of other Beatles songs. Long and Winding Road, an absolutely gorgeous arrangement of that with all these dissonant harmonies. And our soprano section leader, Anna Winters, is going to conduct that one. She brought the arrangement to me and said, "Have you seen this one?" And I said, "I have. I like it a lot." And she said, "Could we do that one?" And I said, "Would you like to conduct it?" And she said, I would do that.
Wow.
So she's going to. So I'm excited to have her do that. And then we finish up the first half with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, one of the best-selling albums of all time. We're doing the title song from that, and that another big old party. And then we'll take our intermission, and we'll come back, and we're doing an a cappella setting of Can't Buy Me Love. And then an arrangement of Let It Be that features a wonderful soloist, Michelle Crow Yates, in the group. Wonderful, kind of soulful beginning to the song, and then a duet in there of Ron Kane and Renee Benham, and then the chorus interspersed with that. So a good arrangement of that. Then LFYC comes out and does their selections I mentioned, and then we're going to finish the concert with Hey Jude, with the chorus combined with Lancaster Fairfield Youth Choir together, and I think we may do some staging things there to make that work even a little better than what it is, to involve the audience a bit, and I think that'll be a fun way to finish the concert. So it's going to be a good mix of things.
It sounds fun, sounds exciting. Always good to have the young people there.
Indeed,
It's always good to have the youth choir with us. And let's take care of a little business here now. It's coming up this Sunday. 3 o'clock out at Crossroads, the event center on West Fair Avenue. Back there after being gone for one concert for that.
Correct.
It's, I guess, different prices. We can talk about that at the door. There's a QR code. We've had the poster. We can put that up and show that, the QR code. But you can get tickets ahead of time.
Yeah, and if you buy them in advance, they're a little cheaper. They're $12 in advance. But starting the day of the concert and at the door, they're $15. They go up to there. So buy them in advance. You can get them from any chorus member. You can contact me. Our social media, our website is LancasterCommunityChorus.com. Or you can go to our Facebook or Instagram pages, and then you can get them that way, or contact any chorus member. You can look me up. I'm at First United Methodist Church. I can get you tickets. However,
we know where you live,
exactly,
where you work.
Exactly, everybody does. So you can come get them from me, or you can get them at the door, $15. I'm sure it'll be a pretty good crowd, particularly with the young people coming to sing with us. So that's all happening there at Crossroads on the 15th, this coming Sunday. Doors open at 2:30, and the concert begins at 3.
And I think just judging by some of the past concerts, we can say, well, there's been plenty of seats. There's always available. Well, some you can always get a seat. There is no doubt about that. But it's a little crowded.
It is.
It's festival seating. First come, first serve. You want to sit up and kind of see the group. You might want to get there a little bit early for the concert. But I think no doubt it will be a well-attended event.
I agree that'll be the case, and it's going to be a fun one you don't want to miss. Even if you're the only one there, you're going to want to hear it. So,
well,
buy your tickets.
The choir will love singing to the audience.
Absolutely.
Whoever's
is
out
there.
Whoever's
exactly
out
right.
there.
Yeah.
Well, we want to mention again, it's this Sunday. Exciting time, 3 o'clock, Crossroads. Best of luck. Pleasure to have, as we say, the fifth Beatle with us today, John, Paul, George, Ringo, and Clarence with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles this Sunday. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
It'll be fun.
Yes, indeed.
We'll be back in a moment.
The reason why I do what I do is I love helping people, and I really love to work on understanding and striving to improve the lives of the people in our community. Being in Fairfield County is having a network of people around you.
I am driven by my belief that every individual deserves an opportunity to achieve mental and emotional balance, and I'm very passionate about contributing to that process.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
What makes Fairhope what it is our staff. It's always a question that we ask, why do you want to be here with us? And what they most always say is, "You've touched my life this way. You know, you took care of this person, or I've seen what you've done and I want to do that." And so the staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
Did you know Fairfield DD provides coordination for over 1,200 people in Fairfield County? That's 1,200 unique journeys, each filled with talents, dreams, and challenges. And while no two paths are the same, one thing is true for everyone. Life is easier when you have the right support. That's why we're here. From early childhood milestones to school transitions, employment, and adulthood, Fairfield DD connects individuals and families with the resources they need every step of the way. When the right support is available, a vibrant community where people lead lives of greater independence and make meaningful contributions becomes possible. Learn more at fairfielddd.com and check us out on social media. Together, we're building a more inclusive Fairfield County.
Fairfield Medical Center is more than a hospital. We're a health system that's been putting people first for more than a century. From the youngest patients to the eldest, our compassionate team of caregivers are here to support you through every season of life. We are healers, cheerleaders, patient advocates, and champions. Your health is our greatest accomplishment, and we are proud to serve you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
If you've been thinking about getting a home loan, now is the time. Hi, this is Carrie James from Fairfield Federal. Our experienced lenders are here to help you make your vision a reality. For more than 125 years, we've been helping our community achieve home ownership. Fairfield Federal has convenient online application for your home loan, home equity loan, and home equity line of credit needs. Visit fairfieldfederal.com to get started. Fairfield Federal for checking, savings, and home loans. Data charges may apply, subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 402612.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Fairfield Day. We certainly want to thank Clarence McCoy for joining us, talking about just a good concert coming up this Sunday. We're going to change roles a little bit, keep it maybe in the arts world a little bit. Maybe that's a stretch. But we had a moment a couple of weeks ago in town where the Heritage Association was behind an event that took place maybe half a block behind us, where we're sitting right now. It was the unveiling of the Sipio Smith statue that we've talked to Michael Johnson before about this, and for the last couple of years we've kind of chatted about it. It'll get here. Well, it got here. I want to talk to Michael Johnson about it. First of all, Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I was fortunate enough to be at that event, the unveiling of the Sipio Smith statue, and we've got some video that we'll show that to you, with you and Evan Saunders unveiling that from Allen Chapel, which played such an integral part in all this. But that was really one of the, and I've been here a while, and that I think was just a huge community event, and I think the crowd really was impressed with how it all went.
Yeah, kind of surprised, humbled by that kind of support. I printed off, I think, 50 little programs about what was going to happen.
How'd that work out?
Not good. Wendy, my boss, Wendy Gregory, she stopped counting people at 200. So we had between 200 and 300 that ended up showing up for that event.
Well, and again, to kind of refresh us a little bit, Sipio Smith, was he the first black businessman? Would that be the official, how would you want to look at that, in Lancaster?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he opened up a tinsmith shop in 1827.
Right about where the statue is?
Right in that area.
Yeah, right there.
So he opened that up in 1827, first black businessman.
And so for a couple of years, you've been out there kind of begging for funds, begging, let's get this off. This is a big event. A lot of people understood that, and you had tremendous draw from the community, from the business world to individuals, kids. Everybody wanted to donate for this, and it turned out to be just a wonderful event. But when you look at this statue and just the speeches we heard that day from not only the gentleman that sculpted that, but the other people from Allen Chapel who were involved, people in the community who were important to this. This was a moment for Lancaster to kind of maybe heal a little bit, maybe kind of bring us to a little together, you think?
I absolutely think so. I think that's one of the main reasons this happens so quickly, too. The first donation that I put in was in June of 2023. As less than 2 years from that first donation to the statue being installed is incredible. And mentioning the sculptor, Alan Cottrell from Zanesville, he has sculpted, he said, around 400 statues in his career, and this is his favorite. So I think there's certainly a community aspect behind that, and there's also this underdog, this incredible story of Sipio that just kind of resonates with people. It all came together.
You know, and I only knew about him from what we've ever talked about on the shows that we've done, which have been limited, 3 or 4 shows, talked about that a little bit on some shows, but here's somebody that certainly could have played the race card.
Sure.
Could have played the physical impairment card, the disability card, and tried to gain some ground on that. Maybe not back in that day. That would have been so well with the race and all that. But he did none of that. He was a fellow that did what he did, a tinsmith that ran a business that helped other people in the community, and he was just a role model. And I was fortunate enough to be there with a young friend of mine who is a black fella, and he knew a lot of the history on this, and he knew a lot about the Allen Chapel and things that have gone on. So I learned a little bit from him here, but this is a guy that truly could be a role model.
Yeah, it's like I said during my speech, he had every excuse in the book to use, and he never played one of them. So yeah, I mean, he could have easily turned to anger, resentment, violence, depression, and you would have looked at his story and said, yeah,
we get it.
I get it. Being born a slave and losing your leg as a child, that's a heck of a hand to be dealt right at the beginning of life. And to what he achieved and where he went is remarkable.
So a couple of weeks ago, you'll have this big unveiling. We showed that a little bit earlier with you, and a lot of people speaking from the community involved in this to help you get where you needed to be in just a relatively short time, a couple of years. And what's been the talk in your world since then about this?
You know, a lot of pride. A lot of pride. I got so many messages of just how proud people were and how proud they felt during that event, watching that event online. There was just a real big sense of community and community pride. I think that's the overwhelming feeling from that day.
Let's kind of take me back a little bit, a couple of years, like you say, June of 23. That was the first bucks put in to kind of get this going. Okay, a couple of years ago, what got you on this adventure? I think we understand when you, a few years ago, got the sword, you were a Sherman guy. We all understand that. His connection here, we got it. And truly a wonderful moment for Lancaster and Fairfield County with the sword for General Sherman. But what got you on to this fellow, Sipio Smith, that turned out to be, again, a major event for Lancaster and Fairfield County? What kind of lit your fire?
So, Sherman pun, by the way. So I always tell people this. I started researching Sipio before I got the job at Heritage.
Really?
Yes, because I've always been a history nerd. I didn't need to be hired to do that. And I remember reading through a book of Lancaster history, and it was just maybe two sentences about this man, Sipio Smith, the first black businessman, one-legged tinsmith, former slave, and it just kind of moved on from there. Like, that's a good story, and it moved on, and I'm
Just
thinking,
kind of a blow-off
whoa.
little paragraph.
Yeah,
But
I'm
for
like,
you,
no. Like, what happened? Where's he from? What's his story? So when I was hired by Heritage, one of my jobs is to write the Fairfield Heritage Quarterly 4 times a year for members. And they told me, you can write about any local history story. And I said, oh, I know who I'm going after. I got to find out this man's full story. So my very first quarterly was about Sipio Smith, and that's where the research began. But there's something about, and the sculptor touched on this too, there's something about that underdog story. Whether you're just somebody who underdogs appeal to you, or you have an underdog kind of story yourself, which I do. You just like reading about those successes, hearing about those successes, and you can relate to those. And it pulled me in that direction from day one. I was on that case.
well, I think we all understand that it's easier to get to home plate if you start at third base.
Sure.
But somebody like Sipio, he had to battle to get to first base, let alone to get home.
Exactly.
And I think you're right. I think that underdog story, most of us of a certain age, let's say, understand that people who've had a difficult childhood lots of time rise to that moment, to the cream of the crop, are able to hit their mark, and that is because of the kind of life they led. Mm-hmm. And I would say that would be true of him. Here's a fellow that became a role model, somebody you were interested in from the moment you read his name, and to say, this is the kind of guy we need to highlight in Fairfield County.
Yeah, definitely. This is somebody that we should be celebrating. Somebody that I think the city of Lancaster reminds me of. Someone with hard work ethic, someone who puts his nose down and gets the job done. No excuses. Mm-hmm. I think people like that, for me, are very easy to admire, and somebody with those sorts of traits, we should be propping those people up.
And I think we've got a few minutes here. I wanted to touch on the Allen Chapel aspect of this because that's kind of the resurgence in the last few years has kind of mirrored this resurgence with Sipio Smith. Allen Chapel was kind of moved in the forefront. A lot of people know about it now, maybe didn't know about it a few years ago. It's been renovated up there. It's a beautiful looking place. You've had contact with them. They were involved in many aspects of getting this done. A lot of the people up there probably helped you in this research.
Absolutely. Yeah, Holly Saunders being the main one. I tell Holly all the time that her book is behind me, one of the books that are behind me in my office. She was the first person I reached out to when I found his deed of emancipation from Virginia, which had not been uncovered. I brought her into our office to show her that deed that she never knew existed, and which gave his birthday, which gave his mother's name, things we never knew before. That was an emotional day, and it started from there, and we didn't look back.
And she already knew some things about him, not the full fleshed out things that were to come out when you two combined with all your knowledge together, but yes. She was at least aware of this beginnings in Fairfield County.
Absolutely, yeah. They knew about him being the founder of the AME Church, which is now Allen Chapel. They knew he had one leg. They knew that he was the first black businessman. But a lot of the details they didn't know how old he was. They didn't know when he came to Lancaster. They didn't know how he got to Lancaster. All of those details they didn't have.
Well, our guest, of course, is Michael Johnson. He's marketing director with the Heritage Association. Does so much, and a self-proclaimed history nerd. And oftentimes when I refer to you, people, Michael Johnson, you know him. He's a history nerd, and I know you take that as a compliment.
Love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Love
you could be known for a lot worse things, and perhaps in some circles are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been called a lot worse than that.
But as I say, it was just a couple of weeks ago. They had the unveiling down there. It's going to be there long past our time here on Lancaster, Ohio. Yeah. But to see him holding the unshackled chain, and the sculptor talked about that, about the moments, the things in his eyes he saw when he did that. I think everybody involved in this was affected as much as you were in terms of, this is a guy we want to talk about.
Yes, yeah, and that's the goal whenever you do something like this, is you hope that people feel the same way and have that same emotion, react in a similar manner. And I think that they did. That shackle, that imagery, the open shackle with the inscribed date of his emancipation, him holding that up, and it, almost in a celebratory but also defiance, as this didn't work. You know, it didn't hold me back.
Yeah.
And it's his concept and his ability is unmatched.
Well, we've got the Lancaster Festival coming up here very soon, and that's going to be a focal point, I'm sure, downtown now with the addition of that, with everything else going on. So, again, congratulations to the Heritage Association, to you, the community, the Allen Chapel folks, everybody involved. What a wonderful moment for Lancaster and Fairfield County. Thanks for kind of pulling that all together. That was big.
I appreciate it, and thank you for having me, and thanks for promoting this statue.
It is our pleasure, believe me. Michael Johnson with the Heritage Association. Thanks for joining us in Fairfield today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.